So I was watching the original video I made for this a couple of months ago, and I realized it sounded so depressing and dour and sad. And the reason for that was because I was actually making these videos with my roommates in the other room, and I didn't want to be too loud, and I ended up becoming very muted and awkward and all of that stuff. But I thought I'd just make another one because I have been, making a couple of videos lately. I thought might as well make a new one. What is this channel about? This is a way for me to concretize my consumption of media. I realize that I listen to a lot of music, I read a lot of books, I watch a lot of movies, but I don't ever have a way to, I don't necessarily have a means to which I can note down what I remember, what I thought about it. And I used to write reviews sort of before for movies on this website called Letterbox, but I got lazy, and I realized the best thing for actually I'm supposed to be doing is that I should be writing notes in the process of before and during and after. But I realized that like I'm too lazy for that, and also it's like I find it a little too obstructive from the flow of reading or the flow of listening or the flow of all this stuff. I don't want to distract myself while in the process of doing something for the first few times. So I thought, maybe I'll just make a video after. And this is for me, this is me trying to acknowledge that memory sucks, memory is flawed, and eventually I'll come to a point in which I don't remember how I felt about something. And given that art and literature is such a big part of my life, I just wanted a way for me to have a nice concrete uh, memory. Again, it's that's all it is for me. I just want to remember things that I feel. And even for me personally, for example, I think about movies I've seen a couple of years ago. Sometimes people ask me like, what do you think about this movie? And I can't remember, I can't remember if I liked it or not. I can see on some website I have like a rating 3 stars, 4 stars, but that's nothing. I don't remember how I felt about it. I can remember the way I somehow was able to quantify my experiences of it, but that's nothing. And I thought, well, okay, I'm lazy to write them down, so maybe I'll make a video. And I never thought I'd actually continue doing it, but here we are 4 months later, and I've made a couple of videos. I made a couple dozen videos now, and I find it pretty cool that I've been able to really pursue this and do it over and over again. And again, these videos are for me. These are for me. These are for me in order. This is for me to concretize my memories of initial thoughts, perceptions, reactions, and all that to different things. So you can say, well, okay, I get it, sort of, Jason. But why do you have to upload them on YouTube? That the fact that you're uploading it probably shows that you have some kind of I don't know, what is the term for it? You're some kind of level of narcissism about this. And the reason why I'm uploading it is because for me, it has created this kind of internal habit-forming mechanism within my brain in which whenever I would read something, I would have a part of my brain switched on and which dealt with articulation. I realized that by putting things online, even though it's very low stakes, there is some level of degree in which I feel like I need to be able to fully articulate how I feel about something. And the process of reading, the process of experiencing art and literature while also trying to articulate what you feel and think about it is extremely useful, I think. I found it very useful over the last few months in just not just processing how I feel about something or how I've been able to experience something, but even better understanding what I'm currently going through and experiencing. I watch a lot of movies, again, I read a lot of books, listen to lots of music, and I realized over the last few months, I can say this with confidence, that it has definitely improved my ability to process things in terms of these pieces of art, and I've gained so much out of it. Whether or not anyone watches the videos or not, I'm gaining so much out of this for me personally. And I'm happy to kind of report is that I have come to a point in which these videos have never become an end. Watching movies, listening, enjoying art. I was fearing for a while that what would happen was that my experiences with art would become a means to an ends of making a video. And I realized, after a couple of months of doing this, it hasn't, and I'm very happy for that, because I think it sucks. I think many people, when you turn the video into an ends, that's just not, I think it loses some kind of essence in the experience of art. So what are these videos then? These are not ends, these are afterthoughts for me. This is, again, I'm like writing notes, but then I'm recording it, and the fact that I'm putting it online is mostly just to give myself like an internal motivation that even though that it's because it's public, there's some like degree in which I have to continue doing it, and it creates a habit forming mechanism in my brain, like I said, that makes me more active as opposed to be a passive consumer, because I think it's so easy to passively consume things because there is no need to articulate yourself about it. So you can just sit there with your brain off. And what this has done for me personally is that I've always have it forced me to always keep my brain on. And while I've had this to some degree before, this is just helping me, and I've gotten so much out of this personally. And what's amazing, I think, is that the videos themselves and whatever happens after the videos, these are all after effects of my experiencing of the arts, and my experiencing is the ends of themselves, not a means to anything else. But what's kind of amazing for me is that I realize also that in the process of me cataloging my own experiences, I'm able to, if one other person manages to watch or stumble upon one of these videos, and even just Googles the name of the artist or the author, or Googles the documentary, or Googles whatever, and if somehow some of those people, they watch a trailer or whatever, and they end up buying a book or reading it, listening to the piece of music, going on Spotify, Apple Music, and actually engaging with something I just happen to do in my own free time. If someone else manages to do that and learn something new, that's kind of incredible for me, And because again, for me personally, what this is about me cataloging my, I guess, lack for a better word, my personal intellectual journey. This is about my personal journey within the arts, within literature. This is me kind of looking back and seeing where I've started and where I've gone, and all the new thoughts and ideas that percolate in my head, new concepts and theories and all this stuff. And it is my personal intellectual journey, and I find it very gratifying to have that documented in some way. And that is why I've been loving doing this. And I think what's very fascinating is that if someone else manages to if I'm actually able to also influence someone else's personal and intellectual and spiritual journey, because they Google the Indian Hindustani classical music album I talked about in one of my videos, and they got obsessed with Indian music or something, or maybe they read about they saw my video on whatever, like The Doors of Perception by Aldous Huxley, and then suddenly they fall into this rabbit hole of reading about Aldous Huxley. These are things that I don't necessarily consider while reading. These are things I do not consider at all while reading, experiencing the arts and literature. It's not what I consider while making the videos. It's not what I consider when I upload them. But it does happen, I think, for some people. And I've read some comments who from these people, and I think it's incredible. And even though, so again, I don't care if not many people watch the videos, but if even one person watches some of these videos and learns something, that is already for me such a great after effect. It's like a plus. It's like plus. It's just a random plus for me. So yeah, this is what the channel is about. Usually, I really try to force myself to immerse myself in environments in which I'm not familiar with. So I read books that I don't really necessarily know a lot about. I listen to a lot of world music from countries or civilizations, or civilization is not a good term, but just cultures that I'm not very familiar with. I like to listen to their music and read about them and learn more about them. I like reading books about topics I don't know anything about, and just to, again, expand my intellectual journey and my own personal development. And I have found a lot of great benefit from it for me personally, and if it can benefit anyone else, that's great for them as well. Many people ask me sometimes, or they comment, no one asks me in person, no one knows I do this stuff, but someone will comment or something saying, "What I wish videos are nice, but then sometimes you say too many sometimes you don't. Why don't you just cut the videos and put all the interesting things together? Why make such a long video? Blah blah blah." I get it, but it's the videos are for me. I don't really necessarily mind if I watch myself and I can see myself stammering or being very inarticulate about something. That's okay, because I know that I'm comfortable with myself, and I am aware of my faults, and I'm aware of my inadequacies, and I'm okay with those things. Maybe I'm not so articulate about a certain topic, and perhaps sometimes I drag on or I ramble about something that I probably could be cutting. It's okay. It's for me. The videos are for me. If you don't like them, just don't comment. You just Google. If you don't like them or whatever, you find problems with it, just Google whatever it is I'm talking about and learn more about it yourself. What else is there? Another reason why I like to do it, I don't edit anything or use a better camera or use a better mic, is because I like the immediacy of immediate uploading. I video it on my phone, go straight up, and there is no intermediary behind it. There's no time lag. There's nothing. It's so refreshing for me. And because again, these videos are not, I don't want to spend too much time on the videos. These are not the ends. Again, these are after effects. These are the afterglow of transcendental, spiritual reading experiences or music experiences. So whether or not it's quickly, fastly, pacedly, I get it. People have short attention spans. People like seeing things in very artificial ways where it seems like someone is very articulate about what they're saying and they know everything very straight. No one talks like that. And if I don't plan any of these videos, so I don't actually have a script or anything. I don't, sometimes I re-record, because sometimes I have weird background noises, or sometimes someone comes in and it gets distracting. But I don't really necessarily plan this very much. So I just talk about whatever I feel like, and that is it. And this is never supposed to be some kind of totality of how I feel about a certain thing. This is always just, this is a process. It's all about process. This is the process of me learning and experiencing something, and I'm just sharing my process of learning with everyone else around me, because it helps me. It's all for me, I think. And if it happens to help someone else, that's cool as well. So yeah, that's all. I don't really have anything else to say. If you have any interesting thoughts, you can comment or whatever. If you want to learn more about something, you can talk to me. You can send me a message. You can comment. If you know me personally, send me a message. If you tell me what you thought about something, if I talked about some kind of album, for example, and you listen to it too, tell me what you think about it. I want to talk about these things as well, not just have this kind of one-way collection towards myself of experiences to myself. So yeah, that's all. I love recommending things. I've always loved recommending things. My friends know this about me. I like recommending music and movies and all that stuff. So if you want a recommendation, send me a message. I'll recommend you some things. And yeah, so that's the whole thing. That's my whole blurb. That's all I have to say about this stuff. It's kind of long, but this is what it's all about. And again, it's for me personally. And if you find something about whatever I said touches you or moves you or makes you learn something new, then that is incredible, and I hope that your intellectual journey continues pretty fruitfully. So yeah, that's all.